Ambassador Zik-7 floated in the crystalline chambers of the Galactic Council, his 7 eyes focused on the holographic display showing star charts. "Honored Council," he began, his voice echoing through the vast chamber, "we have a serious problem. The representatives from 12 major alien civilizations leaned forward on their floating platforms. Each species looked vastly different from the others. Some were insectoid, others gaseous beings, and a few resembled living metals. "Speak, Ambassador," commanded the council leader, a massive whale-like creature whose voice boomed across the chamber. Zik-7 gestured, and the display zoomed in on a small spiral arm of the galaxy. "A new species has discovered faster than light travel. They call themselves humans. In just 50 years, they've established colonies on over 200 worlds. Murmurs of concern rippled through the gathering. 50 years was barely a blink of an eye in galactic terms. Most species took thousands of years to expand beyond their home systems." "That's impossible," scoffed Gorthak, the insectoid representative. His mandibles clicked rapidly. "No primitive species moves that fast. The evidence is clear," Zik-7 continued. "They've even established settlements in the disputed sector, worlds that 6 of our member species have been fighting over for millennia." Into the B. Whale-like leader's massive eye focused on the display. "Show us these humans." The hologram shifted, showing various human colonies. Small cities dotted alien landscapes. Strange vehicles moved between structures. But nothing looked particularly threatening. "They appear fragile," observed Veltar, whose gelatinous form shimmered with bioluminescent patterns. "Simple carbon-based life forms. Their technology seems basic." Back on Earth, in an underground facility beneath the Korean peninsula, Dae Kim received an encrypted message on his secure terminal. As the chief defense analyst for Earth's United Defense Force, he'd been expecting this moment for months. The message was simple, but chilling. "Humans have 7 Earth days to cease all expansion beyond your current territories. Failure to comply will result in military intervention. Consider this your only warning." The Galactic Council. Dae Kim immediately forwarded the message to his superior, adding a brief note, "Sir, it's happening just as we predicted." Within an hour, the message reached the highest levels of Earth's military command. General Minho Park, a man known for his calm demeanor and brilliant strategic mind, read the ultimatum twice before calling an emergency meeting. The command bunker filled quickly with the world's top military leaders and scientists. The holographic display showed the same message that had reached Dae Kim. "They think we're children playing with toys," Minho said, his voice steady but with an edge of steel. "They want to see our army?" Dr. Li Wei, the head of xenobiology studies, cleared her throat. "Based on our analysis of their previous actions with other species, they'll send a single dreadnought with support vessels. It's their standard intimidation tactic." "Standard," Minho repeated thoughtfully. He looked around the room at the assembled officers. "Has anyone here ever called our method standard?" A few grim smiles appeared around the table. Minho stood and walked to the main communication console. "Send this message to the Galactic Council," he said, his fingers dancing over the controls. "You want to see what a human army looks like? Come to the Kepler 452b system. We'll be happy to show you." The C. Message was transmitted immediately. Within hours, it reached the Galactic Council. "This is unexpected," Zik-7 admitted to the Council. "Most primitive species either surrender immediately or beg for mercy." "Arrogance," growled Gorthak. "These humans need to learn their place." The Council leader made its decision quickly. "Deploy Battle Group 7, standard intimidation protocol. If they don't submit after seeing our power, we'll demonstrate what happens to species that refuse to obey the established order." Battle Group 7 consisted of 1 massive dreadnought called the Infinite Justice, 4 battle cruisers, 24 destroyers, and support vessels. To the aliens, this was like using a hammer to crack a nut. Admiral Velkoth commanded the fleet from the bridge of the Infinite Justice. He was a member of the Kraxi species, tall, reptilian, and known for their military prowess. This assignment bored him. "Another primitive species to put in their place," he told his second in command. "We'll be home within a cycle. The fleet engaged their faster-than-light drives and headed toward the Kepler 452b system. Meanwhile, in the Kepler system, Captain Huan Li stood on the bridge of the UDF frigate Morning Star. Unlike the massive alien vessels heading their way, the Morning Star was sleek and relatively small. "Long-range sensors show incoming fleet," reported his tactical officer. "Estimated arrival in 6 hours." Huan nodded calmly. "Send the all-clear signal. Tell them we're ready." What the aliens didn't know was that the Kepler 452b system had been chosen very carefully. To them, it looked like any other star system with a few planets and asteroids. But humanity had been busy for the past 3 years. The alien fleet dropped out of hyperspace exactly where predicted. Admiral Velkoth looked at the tactical display with satisfaction. "Just one small vessel. This will be easier than I thought." "Sir," his communications officer reported, "the human vessel is hailing us." "Put them through," Velkoth ordered, settling back in his command chair with amusement. Huan Li's face appeared on the main screen. He looked remarkably calm for someone facing a fleet that could destroy planets. "Welcome to Kepler 452b, Huan," said politely. "I'm Captain Li of the United Earth Defense Force. Our command wants you to know that the demonstration will begin shortly. For your own safety, please maintain a safe distance from the asteroid belt." Velkoth laughed, a sound like grinding rocks. "Demonstration? Young human, you're the ones who should be worried about safety. You have one final chance to surrender." Huan's expression didn't change. "Thank you for the concern, Admiral, but I think you'll find this quite educational. Please enjoy the show." The transmission ended, leaving the alien fleet staring at empty space and one small human ship. "Arrogant creatures," Velkoth muttered. "Target their vessel. Let's end this quickly." "Sir," his tactical officer said hesitantly, "perhaps we should see what they mean by demonstration?" Velkoth waved a clawed hand dismissively. "Fine. We'll give them a few minutes to realize their mistake. Then we'll show them why the Galactic Council's will is not to be questioned." In the asteroid belt, millions of objects continued their slow orbits, appearing as nothing more than space rocks drifting in the void. But appearances, as the aliens were about to learn, could be very deceiving. The demonstration was about to begin, and it would change everything. The galaxy thought they knew about warfare. Admiral Vex stretched his 6 arms as his command ship dropped out of hyperspace. The ancient being had led fleets for over 500 years, and this mission felt like a routine training exercise. Through the transparent crystalline hull of his vessel, the Kepler 452b system looked disappointingly empty. "Scan complete." "Admiral," reported his tactical officer, a spider-like creature whose multiple eyes focused on holographic displays. "One small human vessel detected. No other ships in the system." Vex made a sound that his species used for mild annoyance. "They brought one ship to face our entire fleet? Either these humans are incredibly brave or incredibly stupid." Around his flagship, the Council's intimidation fleet spread out in standard formation. 12 observer ships from different alien civilizations hung back at a safe distance, their diplomats and military experts eager to see how this new species would respond to superior force. Commander Jinwoo Choi sat calmly in the captain's chair of the human frigate Dawnbreaker. His crew of 30 looked relaxed, almost casual. In the vast emptiness of space, their small ship seemed like a minnow facing sharks. "Admiral Vex is hailing us," reported the communications officer. "Put him through," Jinwoo said, adjusting his uniform. The main screen filled with Vex's imposing figure. The alien admiral looked every bit the part of a galactic conqueror, his scaled hide covered in ritual scars, his 6 arms each ending in claws that could tear through metal. "I am Admiral Vex, of the Galactic Council Fleet," he announced, his voice carrying the weight of authority. "You have 10 minutes to surrender unconditionally, or we will take action." Jinwoo smiled politely. "Good morning, Admiral. Welcome to Kepler 452b. The demonstration will begin shortly. I hope you and your observers find it educational." Vex's multiple eyes narrowed. "Demonstration? Young human, you face a fleet that has conquered 1,000 worlds. What could you possibly demonstrate that would interest us?" "Patience, Admiral," Jinwoo replied. Good things come to those who wait. The transmission ended, leaving Vex staring at empty space. He turned to his staff officers, who looked equally puzzled. "Sir," ventured his second-in-command, "their confidence is unusual." On the observer ships, representatives from 12 civilizations watched with growing curiosity. Ambassador Neath of the Shell Worlds whispered to her colleague, "Have you ever seen a primitive species act so calmly?" The insectoid delegate chittered nervously. "Something feels wrong. No species faces our fleets with a single ship." Meanwhile, throughout the Kepler 452b system, microscopic sensors that had been drifting like dust for months suddenly activated. They had been waiting, silent and patient, for exactly this moment, deep within asteroids that had been carefully hollowed out. Years earlier, massive fusion reactors hummed to life. The rocks that the aliens dismissed as space debris contained enough technology to power entire planets. Jinwoo checked his chronometer. "All stations report ready, Commander," his first officer reported. "Excellent," Jinwoo said. He opened a channel to all ships in the system. "Attention all units. Operation Revelation begins in 30 seconds. Admiral Vex noticed the change first. His ship's sensors started detecting minor energy fluctuations throughout the system. "What's causing those readings?" he demanded. Before anyone could answer, the asteroid belt began to transform. What had appeared to be ordinary space rocks suddenly blazed with light. Millions of objects throughout the system activated simultaneously, the supposedly empty space around them filled with the glow of engines, weapons systems, and defensive shields. "By the 7 moons," whispered Vex's tactical officer. Asteroids, unfolded like mechanical flowers, revealing hidden weapons platforms. Ships that had been camouflaged as floating debris shook off their disguises and powered up their engines. Massive installations emerged from what looked like empty space, their hulls having been coated with advanced stealth materials. "Sir?" The tactical officer's voice cracked with fear. "I'm detecting... I can't get an accurate count. There are too many objects." The main display struggled to keep up with the flood of new contacts. Red dots appeared faster than the computer could process them. What had been an empty system moments before now teemed with human vessels and installations. Hidden shipyards that had been built inside hollowed-out planetoids revealed themselves. Construction drones by the millions swarmed between installations. Mobile asteroid fortresses activated their engines and began moving into defensive positions. The observer ships erupted in panicked communications. The delegate from the Marsh Collective transmitted frantically, "This is impossible. How did they hide so much?" Admiral Vex felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries: genuine fear. The humans hadn't brought a fleet to Kepler 452b. They had turned the entire star system into a weapon. "Admiral," his communications officer stammered, "we're being hailed by the human ship again." "Put them through," Vex managed to say. Jinwoo appeared on screen again, still looking perfectly calm. "I hope you're enjoying the revelation, Admiral, but this is just the beginning." "How?" Vex asked, his voice barely a whisper. "How did you hide all of this?" "We didn't hide anything," Jinwoo replied. "We built it all in plain sight. Your scouts observed this system a year ago and saw asteroids and planets. They just didn't look close enough." Another human voice joined the transmission. Captain Byung-Soo's image appeared beside Jinwoo. "Observe closely, Admiral. This is one of our minor training systems." The word minor hit the aliens like a physical blow. If this was minor, what did a major human military installation look like? More voices joined the transmission as other human ships revealed themselves. Captain Min Jung from the Hidden Fortress, designated Station Alpha 7. Commander Dong Hyun from the mobile weapons platform codenamed Thunder. Lieutenant Colonel Hai Won from the industrial complex that had been disguised as a moon. "We've been preparing for this meeting for quite some time," Jinwoo continued. "Every rock in this system has been hollowed out and converted. Every planet has been fortified. Every piece of space debris has been turned into a sensor or weapon." Vex looked at his tactical display in horror. The red dots representing human assets now covered the entire system. His massive dreadnought, which had seemed so imposing moments before, was dwarfed by the sheer number of human installations. "This isn't how civilized species wage war. Vex protested weakly. Perhaps not, Jinwoo admitted. But then again, we never claimed to be civilized by your standards. We prefer to be thorough. The alien admiral noticed something else that made his blood run cold. The human installations weren't just weapons platforms. They were industrial facilities. Even now, he could see construction drones building new ships at an incredible pace. These humans didn't just fight with armies. They fought with their entire industrial civilization. Every human was a potential soldier. Every factory a potential weapons manufacturer. Every colony a potential fortress. What? What do you want? Vex asked, his authority crumbling. Want? Jinwoo seemed genuinely surprised. We don't want anything. From you, Admiral. You came here demanding our surrender. We simply wanted to show you why that won't be happening. The demonstration continued as more systems came online. The aliens watched in stunned silence as humanity revealed the true extent of their preparations. This wasn't just a military force, it was an entire star system converted into the ultimate expression of human warfare. And according to the humans, it was just a training system. The revelation was complete, but the true shock was yet to come. The transformation happened so fast that Admiral Vex's multiple eyes couldn't process it all at once. One moment, his fleet was facing a single human frigate in an empty star system. The next moment, the very fabric of space around them seemed to come alive. What his sensors had recorded as common asteroids began to unfold like sleeping giants. Metal surfaces that had looked like ordinary rock split open, revealing gleaming weapon systems underneath. Massive fusion engines emerged from hidden compartments, and suddenly chunks of space debris were moving with purpose. "Sir!" his tactical officer screamed. "I'm reading energy signatures from everywhere." The main display struggled to keep up. Red warning indicators flooded the screen as millions of objects throughout the system activated simultaneously. Each asteroid, each piece of floating debris, each seemingly empty patch of space blazed with the light of awakening technology. Captain Tae Moon's calm voice cut through the chaos on the alien communications channels. His image appeared on screens throughout the Council fleet, a slight smile on his weathered face. "Welcome to Training System 47, he said, as casually as if discussing the weather. "I apologize for the dramatic entrance, but we find that demonstrations work better than explanations." Admiral Vex felt his 6 hearts skip a beat. Training system? This overwhelming display of force was just training. Behind Tae, through the viewscreen of his ship, the aliens could see the incredible transformation continuing. Asteroids weren't just revealing weapons, they were expanding, unfolding into massive industrial complexes, some split apart to release. Swarms of smaller vessels like mechanical wasps emerging from a hive. Lieutenant Yeon Seo appeared in a smaller window on the transmission. She was aboard what looked like a massive space station, but Vex realized with growing horror that it had been disguised as a small moon just minutes before. "Every object you see was civilian infrastructure 6 months ago," Yeon explained, her voice carrying the same casual tone as her captain. "Mining equipment, construction drones, manufacturing facilities, all converted to military use." The aliens watched in stunned silence as the proof of her words unfolded before them. What had appeared to be simple mining operations on various asteroids revealed themselves as hidden shipyards. Massive foundries emerged from camouflaged installations, their forges already glowing with the heat of weapons production. "Impossible," whispered Vex. "Our intelligence reported this system as a minor human mining operation." "That's because it was," Tae replied, "until we decided to show you what happens when humans prepare for war." The revelation continued to unfold, in waves. Planets that had seemed to have only small research stations revealed themselves as massive military complexes. Their surfaces split open like puzzle pieces, exposing underground hangars filled with spacecraft. What the aliens had thought were simple communication arrays transformed into sophisticated sensor networks and weapons targeting systems. Dr. Kyung Min's voice joined the transmission from what had appeared to be a small scientific outpost on one of the system's planets. 6 months ago, this was a geological survey station with a crew of 12, she explained. Today, it's a fully operational military command center coordinating the movements of 3 million defensive platforms. The scale of the transformation was beyond anything the Galactic Council had encountered. The humans hadn't just hidden their military assets, they had converted their entire civilian infrastructure into a war machine. How is this possible? Vex asked, his voice barely steady. The resources, the coordination required. Every human settlement is designed with dual purposes, explained Commander Sung Ho from another facility. Our mining equipment can extract metals for civilian use or weapons manufacturing. Our construction robots can build homes or fortifications. Our cargo vessels can transport goods or carry troops. Yon gestured toward her control displays. This particular asteroid was our ice mining facility last year. We used the tunnels for storage space, installed some extra power generators, and added defensive systems. Now it's a fortress that could hold off a fleet. The alien observers watched in growing panic as more examples revealed themselves. Cargo. Ships shed their civilian disguises to reveal hidden weapon systems. Research vessels activated military-grade shields and engines. Even passenger liners transformed into troop carriers right before their eyes. Your species thinks in terms of armies and fleets, Tay observed. We think in terms of entire civilizations. Every human child learns engineering alongside arithmetic. Every adult knows how to convert civilian technology to military use. We don't have armies. We are the army. A construction worker named Park, Sue appeared on one of the feeds, floating in a spacesuit next to what had been a simple communication satellite. With casual efficiency, he attached what looked like weapon components to its sides. Took me about 30 minutes to upgrade this old satellite, he said cheerfully. Now it can track and disable incoming missiles. We've got about 50,000 more like it scattered throughout the system. The true horror of the human approach became clear to Admiral Vex. They weren't facing a military force. They were facing an entire species that had converted itself into a war machine. But the energy requirements alone, protested the Galactic Council's chief engineer, a crystalline being whose entire body flickered with internal lights. How do you power all of this? Dr. Min Sun answered from her position at what had appeared to be a simple weather monitoring station. Every human facility is designed with multiple backup power sources. Solar collectors, fusion reactors, geothermal taps. We use everything. This training system alone has about 2 million independent power sources. The demonstration reached its climax as the largest asteroid in the system began to split apart. What the aliens had assumed was a simple mining operation revealed itself to be humanity's ultimate surprise. The asteroid's core contained a fully functional space city, complete with manufacturing facilities, living quarters, and defensive systems. Population, 1 million humans, announced its commander, Colonel Young Ki. All trained in combat, all capable of operating our defensive systems. Oh, and we've been here for exactly 6 months, as Lieutenant Yon mentioned. The implications hit the aliens like physical blows. If humans could convert an entire star system in 6 months, what could they accomplish in years? If this was just a training facility, what did their main military installations look like? And the beauty of it all, Tay concluded, is that every single installation you see can be converted back to civilian use whenever we choose. We're not occupying these systems, we're living in them. The alien fleet found itself surrounded by a transformed galaxy. What had been an empty system was now a three-dimensional maze of weapons, sensors, and defensive platforms. Millions of human-controlled objects moved through space in perfect coordination, their paths calculated by computers but guided by human intelligence. Admiral Vex finally understood the full scope of what they faced. The humans didn't wage war the way other species did. They didn't have separate military and civilian sectors. When humans went to war, their entire civilization became the weapon. The demonstration was complete, but Vex realized this was only the beginning of humanity's revelation. What other surprises were the humans preparing to show them? Colonel Jisoo Han stood in the command center of what the aliens had thought was a small moon orbiting the system's second planet. Her calm demeanor contrasted sharply with the chaos of activity surrounding her. Dozens of holographic displays showed incoming data from across the star system. Phase 2 begins now, she announced to her team. The aliens had barely recovered from the initial revelation when the second wave of demonstrations began. Admiral Vex's tactical officer pointed a shaking appendage at his display screen. "Sir, the planets, they're moving." What happened next defied everything the Galactic Council understood about space warfare. The innermost planet of the system, a rocky world about the size of Mars, began to accelerate. Massive engines, previously hidden beneath its surface, revealed themselves as continent-sized panels slid away. "That's not possible," breathed the crystalline being representing the Silicon Collective. "Planets don't have engines," Colonel Han's voice carried across the communication channels with amused patience. "They do when humans build them. Planet designation Sierra 7 is our mobile fortress concept. We hollowed out the core, installed our most advanced engines, and turned the entire world into a movable weapons platform." The planet continued its acceleration, demonstrating maneuvers that made the alien warships look clumsy by comparison. As it moved, gun ports opened across its surface like blooming flowers, revealing weapons that dwarfed anything the Council forces carried. But that was just the beginning. Industrial ships emerged from hidden locations throughout the system, vessels so massive they had been mistaken for large asteroids. These ships approached smaller asteroids and began what could only be described as sculpting. Captain Tay Moon narrated from his ship. "Our industrial vessels use advanced manufacturing technology. Watch carefully." The aliens watched in horror as mining beams reached out from the industrial ships, but instead of simply extracting materials, these beams reshaped entire asteroids within minutes. Rock and metal flowed like liquid, forming new shapes according to some predetermined design. "That took us 40 minutes, noted engineer Park Jun-ho from one of the industrial ships. "Not bad for converting raw asteroids into defensive platforms. We can also reshape them into attack vessels, manufacturing facilities, or even small space stations depending on what we need." Throughout the system, more industrial vessels were at work. They moved between asteroids like cosmic gardeners, each one transforming space rocks into components of an ever-growing defensive network. Some asteroids became weapons platforms, others transformed into shield generators or sensor arrays. The true spectacle began when the drones activated. The space between larger installations filled with what looked like glittering dust. Admiral Vex enhanced his sensors and realized that the dust was actually billions of tiny objects. "Nanoscale construction drones," explained Commander Ari Yang from her position aboard a ship that hadn't even existed moments before. "Each one is smaller than your fingernail, but capable of independent thought and action." The drones moved in perfect formations, creating patterns of light that were beautiful and terrifying. They flowed through space like schools of fish, but with purpose and intelligence. Some formations spelled out words in the aliens' languages, while others created complex geometric shapes that seemed to shift and change with hypnotic regularity. "Each drone can manufacture more drones using available materials," Ari continued. "They can also link together to form larger structures, repair damage to our installations, or coordinate attacks on enemy vessels." To demonstrate, millions of drones converged on a derelict asteroid. Within minutes, they had completely disassembled. Phaeton used the materials to construct a new defensive platform. The process was so fast and smooth that it seemed almost magical. "Self-replicating, self-organizing, and self-improving," Dr. Kim Jae-won added from his research station. "Each swarm learns from every operation, becoming more efficient over time." The aliens had never seen anything like it. Their own technology, which they had considered advanced, suddenly seemed primitive by comparison, but Commander Ari Yang was just getting started. "Now for the really interesting part," she announced. What happened next broke the alien observer's understanding of physics itself. The space around Ari's vessel began to distort, creating visible ripples like waves in water. Objects nearby began moving in impossible ways. Some accelerated without engines, others stopped instantly despite their momentum. "Gravity manipulation. Technology," Ari explained casually. "We can create artificial gravity wells, gravity barriers, even gravity waves that can push objects across vast distances." To demonstrate, she gestured. and a nearby asteroid suddenly shot across the system at incredible speed, guided by controlled gravity fields. Another gesture caused a small moon to spin in place like a top. The alien admiral felt sick. Gravity manipulation was theoretical technology that the most advanced council races had only dreamed about. These humans were using it as casually as a child playing with toys. "It gets better," promised Commander Sung Hai from another installation. The demonstration moved to stellar manipulation. The system's star, a medium-sized yellow sun, began to behave strangely. Solar flares erupted in controlled patterns, and the star's brightness fluctuated in rhythmic pulses. "We've placed gravitational field generators at specific points around the star," Sung explained. "This allows us to influence solar activity, channel energy output, and even focus stellar radiation into beam weapons." As if to prove her point, a controlled solar flare shot out from the star, passed through a series of focusing arrays, and struck a distant asteroid with pinpoint accuracy. The asteroid vaporized instantly. "Don't worry about the star," Dr. Moon Subin added with a laugh. "These manipulations don't damage it permanently. We've run thousands of simulations to ensure long-term stability." The aliens watched in stunned silence as humanity demonstrated control over forces they had thought were permanent fixtures of the universe. Gravity, stars, matter itself all seemed to respond to human will. The swarms of drones created new formations, spelling out messages in multiple alien languages. "Welcome to Training System 47. Please observe carefully. This concludes Phase 2 of our demonstration." Colonel Jisoo Han's image reappeared on the alien screens. "Impressive? This represents about 1% of our capability when we have 6 months to prepare. Each of our training systems is equipped to demonstrate different aspects of human warfare." The aliens realized they weren't just witnessing a military demonstration. They were watching humans reshape reality itself to suit their needs. These weren't just advanced weapons. They were tools that treated the laws of physics as guidelines, rather than absolute rules. Admiral Vex and his fleet found themselves surrounded by technologies that seemed like magic. But the humans had made it clear. This was just the warm-up. What would they demonstrate next? The display was over, but the real shock was yet to come. Galactic Council stunned. This is what a human army looks like. At HFY Stories, HFY Sci-Fi, Story Admiral Kyung-bae materialized on the main display. His image, transmitted from what the aliens now realized, was the command ship they had mistaken for a small space station. Unlike the other humans they had seen, Kyung-bae wore an admiral's uniform, and his weathered face carried the gravity of someone about to deliver life-changing news. "I believe you have questions," he said, his voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. Admiral Vex found his voice first, though it trembled. "This entire demonstration, how long did it take you to prepare?" Kyung-bae smiled, and it wasn't a reassuring expression. 6 months, standard preparation time for converting a civilian system to military readiness. The silence that followed was deafening. 6 months. Everything they had witnessed, the mobile planets, the gravity weapons, the self-replicating drones, the stellar manipulation, had been built in just 6 months. "But that's..." the insectoid representative began, then stopped, unable to complete the thought. "Impossible," suggested Kyung-bae. "Your mistake is thinking in terms of traditional warfare. You see, armies and fleets are separate from civilian life. Every human settlement is designed with conversion potential." Lieutenant Yoon Bo-ra appeared in a smaller window, speaking from what looked like a classroom. Behind her, human children. Of various ages worked with complex machinery, their small hands moving with practiced precision. "I teach advanced engineering to our 12-year-olds, she explained cheerfully. "By age 16, every human can convert civilian equipment to military use. It's part of our basic education, like learning to read or write." The alien observers felt a chill run through them. These humans trained for war from childhood. Commander Lee Shi-woo joined the transmission from a normal-looking suburban area on one of the planets. Behind him, ordinary-looking humans went about their daily activities, shopping, playing with children, tending gardens. "See the woman with the baby stroller?" he pointed. "She's a demolitions expert who can turn household items into explosives. The man selling fruit, former Starship engineer who helped design our gravity weapons. The children playing in the park, they're learning orbital mechanics through their games. The implications hit the aliens like physical blows. Every human was a potential weapon. Every civilian could become a soldier. Every home could become a fortress. General Tae-Hoon Lim's image replaced the others, his presence commanding immediate attention. Behind him, through a window, the aliens could see one of Earth's cities, not a military installation, just a regular urban center. "You asked to see our army," he said, his voice carrying finality. "Let me explain something about humans that your intelligence clearly missed. We don't have armies in the traditional sense." He gestured toward the city behind him. "Every building you see was designed with defensive capabilities. Every factory can produce weapons. Every school teaches military skills alongside regular subjects. Every human knows how to fight." Dr. Kim Soo-jin appeared from what looked like a hospital. "I'm a pediatric surgeon," she said, "but I also design medical nanobots that can serve as defensive systems. Every human has multiple skills, multiple purposes." The alien delegates' understanding of warfare crumbled as the true nature of human society was revealed. They had expected to find a species with a military class like most civilizations. Instead, they found a species where every individual was part of the military. "This entire star system," Kyung-bae continued, "was built by volunteers from a single world, Earth's colony on Kepler 42c, population 50 million. Just one colony, preparing for what we call a standard welcome for new galactic neighbors." He paused to let that sink in. "We currently maintain settlements on 8,000 worlds. Each one is capable of this level of preparation. Many are far better equipped." Captain Park Min-soo spoke from a ship's bridge, surrounded by what looked like teenagers. "My crew's average age is 17. They've been training for this since they could walk. By human standards, they're barely adults. By galactic standards, they're more capable than most experienced military teams." The aliens watched as these teenagers operated equipment that surpassed anything in the Galactic Council's arsenal, their movements confident and practiced. "But why?" Admiral Vex asked, desperation creeping into his voice. "Why train everyone for war?" "Because we learned early that the universe isn't a safe place," replied Tae-Hoon, his expression hardening. "We've encountered 47 different species since leaving our homeworld. 23 of them immediately tried to conquer or destroy. Us, we adapted." The final revelation came from engineer Choi Hyun-suk, speaking from what looked like a small workshop, but which the aliens now realized was probably capable of producing advanced weapons. "The beautiful thing about our system," she explained, "is that it's completely peaceful during peacetime. These same technologies that terrify you now, they build cities, terraform planets, create art, advance science. We're not a warrior species. We're a prepared species." General Tae-Hoon raised his hand and every human transmitting fell silent. "Let me be crystal clear about what you've witnessed today. You haven't seen our army. You've seen our kindergarten. You haven't seen our weapons. You've seen our tools. You haven't seen our military. You've seen our people." He leaned forward, his next words carrying the weight of absolute truth. "We are not a species that has an army. We are an army that happens to be a species." The communications channels erupted with panicked chatter as the alien delegates absorbed this information. The Galactic Council's entire understanding of warfare, society and civilization had just been shattered. Admiral Vex found himself staring at his tactical display, where millions of red dots represented human assets. But now he understood the terrifying truth. Each dot represented not just a weapon or installation, but human lives. Lives that had been shaped from birth to defend their species. "We invite you to return to the Galactic Council," Kyung-bae said, his voice once again carrying diplomatic politeness. "Tell them what you've seen here. Help them understand that humanity doesn't seek conflict, but we are prepared for whatever comes." Without waiting for a response, the human transmissions ended. The alien fleet found itself alone, surrounded by millions of human installations that had revealed themselves, watched by billions of human eyes. The retreat order came immediately. The entire Council fleet began their withdrawal, their sensors full of readings they still couldn't fully comprehend. As they activated their faster-than-light drives, each alien carried the same terrifying thought: If this was just a training system, what horrors awaited those who truly threatened humanity? The Galactic Council would never be the same. Humanity had fundamentally altered the nature of warfare itself, and the galaxy was only beginning to understand what that meant. As the alien ships disappeared into hyperspace, the humans of Training System 47 quietly returned to their normal activities. Children went back to their lessons. Engineers resumed their projects. Mothers continued raising their babies. But now the galaxy knew the truth. Every human child learning to read was also learning tactics. Every human building a home was also building a fortress. Every human living their life was also preparing for war. The demonstration was complete. The universe had been changed forever.